All right. Welcome, everyone, and Happy New Year. um, if you work with us monthly, weekly, or you just kind of drop by the YouTube channel, you'll know that we have been working with stillness, and it's something that we have, the two of us at least, bravely needed during the holidays, and we want to continue working with stillness as a way to call ourselves back home to ourselves. Um, it's something that we can do in a practice that can happen over and over again, and it's something that we talk about a lot with process art, working in our books, and in different ways. So today we're going to do like we always do. We're going to do a little bit of sensing. We're going to do some scribbling, so have a place ready for that. And then we are going to write. And when we're done writing, we will pause. And remember, you can always keep writing if you'd like, or go back to scribbling or start working creatively, however that looks for you. So for sensing, we are going to work with stillness, but how you find stillness. What is the best way? It doesn't have to be just stillness in your body. We're talking about the stillness that brings us back into ourselves. So it's an inward stillness, but we can still be moving. You might find stillness walking, just very attentively. You might find it in smells in the room, just paying attention to what it is that brings you stillness. Might be completely different from me or from Sarah. So we're just going to find ourselves in our seat and just focus on our breath, however our breath would like to come. You may want to close your eyes, you may not, because part of going inward may be using your eyes somehow. And really just focusing on our comfort in our seat, finding ourselves as we are. Is there a sound that we like happening right now that we can bring in to just cultivate our stillness? Noticing what's happening in our body. And then begin to just be curious about what would bring you stillness. Perhaps it's just taking a look at something in front of you, noticing it for the first time. Maybe it's continuing to breathe or feeling your feet on the ground. And as you continue to just be with yourself, see if there's a place in your body that isn't as still as maybe it could be. Maybe asking for some attention. And if you could place one or two hands on that space in your body. Noticing, does it want some attention, maybe some tapping? Maybe to breathe into it. And when it feels right, we're going to imagine that there is a marker or a pen or something that could scribble attached to that space in your body. And we'll move into some scribbling from that point. Notice as you're scribbling if you've worked with one energy and if another energy wants to come in. And you'll want to find the space in the scribble where you can come to a stop, and you can always come back. And we'll go on to our writing. And so the question today is, how do I want to bring stillness into the new year? And you may continue writing. We're going to press pause and begin working in our studio. Whenever you're done with your creative exploration, whatever that may be, go ahead and just unpause us. And we'll see you on the other side. Okay, so we're back. Curious how it was for you, Sarah.
Oh, there's so many things this morning. Was I still? Maybe not. This I started a new page. I started working on it just before Sunday when we met, and we used that prompt um, that we use right around the new year. What do you want to let go of, and what do you want to bring forward? Okay, I'm always mystified that because I'm working on a page I started 2 years ago, and the writing on it on this page is exactly what I wrote to that prompt on Sunday. Same things.
Mm.
And it wasn't the prompt. What I wrote first did not come from that prompt, but that it's still there and it's still working in me. So, so I've been excited about working on this because I like that sort of connection of, oh, we've cycled back around and here it is again. But I also find on a new page, stillness is not part of my experience.
Mm.
Like there's so many, you could do this could happen. And it's some of it's useful, a lot of it isn't, but it's always on a new page. It's hard to get it to settle down. That sort of rush of there's so many things that could happen, and I can feel it in my body. It's a tension that comes up of I don't have enough time to do this. I got to hurry. So that stillness thing for me goes away. When I first begin, and it's where a lot of judgment is, a lot of tension. And so this time, writing about using the prompt we use today, um, it was just like, what is the tiniest thing you can do? So I spent the time cutting out these little tiny shapes to glue down and resisted it at first, like I do stillness. um, but it was incredible as I cut them and just started laying them out where I wanted to glue them. And it, I could feel that tension and that kind of frenzied chatter of it's new and there's so many possibilities just kind of settle. And sort of a sense of, could I trust those possibilities? If they're true possibilities, they'll float back up in the stillness. I don't have to chase them and grab them and make something out of them. It was almost just the action of like putting dots on paper, cutting
Mm.
these little shapes to line them up. And so it's interesting that there can be this movement in it,
Mm.
and that I can actually use movement or action, which seems to be the opposite of stillness, to um, move through the frenzy I may be feeling, or the extreme focus of I'm here now and I've got to do something big, and it's like no, it's just like just this, and so I feel really I got a lot more done than I usually do on a first page. It was I feel less stirred up than when we started, stiller, um, but not in that, because I think what I tend to do is stillness is sometimes I do stillness like I do numbing out.
Mm. I totally get that. Yeah,
And
it's
yeah, so I feel like I had that moment of getting to really experience what the sensing offered, how you led us through that. And then even my scribble, there was some stillness in it, and just realizing, oh, some of this is just moving and not paying attention to what's not still in me, my mind. But there's something in that direct contact with materials that allows me to, if I can settle, if I can turn this off, it allows me to settle into that stillness that you were talking about earlier, finding it inside.
yeah, I agree. In fact, I think it's interesting because I did a lot of cutting and then I did a lot of dot making today.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I think, it could be that repetitive small motion that helps me. But there is something about the materials, we're working with water probably. We're working with pens, we're working with paint, and that can provide the senses a lot to just sort of dive into, and helps, like you said, still the waters a little bit. And
Hmm.
it was just felt so good. And, um, it's just been eye-opening for me to realize that stillness doesn't have to mean my body is just completely still.
Hmm.
It's, but like you said, I mean, I can go completely still, but I don't know if that's necessarily a healthy place for me. Because I think with trauma, early trauma, that frozen place can happen a lot. And I think that that place of not doing
Hmm.
can happen for me when there is a doing that can happen, which will bring stillness and not checking out. If
Yeah,
that makes
it's
sense.
interesting to think that about, as you said that, I thought, oh yeah, the way I've met stillness, and it's like when it's too much and I need to go away, it is, it is true. I can misinterpret it. Frozen, stagnation, not moving, but shutting down as my stillness. And there's not, and there is, it's interesting to find that stillness and not, I don't, would it happen in an activity that I was producing something for? I don't know. But, when I let go of the achieving something at the end of the action, and just what the action is to bring me to stillness, where so the activity remains open ended. I'm very aware right now of how much nourishing that is than choosing to check out and call it stillness.
There's an aliveness in the stillness that we're talking about. Yeah, very alive, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this, um, the more curious I am about it, um, the the more alive I feel like it is. It's uh, hard to put into words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it doesn't always, it's like that cutting things and dot making, um, because it's so just what it is. My mind can't engage in it too much.
Mhm.
And so it has it really lets me see, but it's not flashy stuff. I guess that's what I want to say. It's not the big thing. Like I want to paint myself and then the challenges of that. It's just that there is this wide open space in the little small places that I tend not on a daily basis. I give myself stillness, but it is really kind of stagnation,
Mhm.
shut down, shut the world out. And this is more engaged. It feels more alive. And I wonder in my daily life where I avoid doing the small things, because
Mm.
how easy it is for us not to think there's anything in those.
Yeah.
That it's got to be the big expression or the big movement. And it's like, no, it might be just be moving your finger.
Or peeling an orange. I peeled an orange this morning,
Hmm.
and it was an incredible experience. Normally, I'm trying to get past the peeling so I can get right on into eating it. But yeah, it's a
Yeah.
practice.
And no, it certainly is. And it's one of those I don't think that you progressively get better. I think you go around and around and encounter it at different places,
You meet it
where
differently. Yeah.
Mhm. or awarenesses of why I try to avoid it. And and it's interesting. I'm a little afraid of it, that it, because sometimes stillness seems like it's nothing.
Mhm.
And we certainly none of us want to be nothing,
Right.
but there's so much. But that's where I feel the most me, when I'm in that engaged stillness.
That's how
Where
we
I think,
know. Yeah.
hmm
That's how we meet ourselves for real.
yep.
Ah,
Wow.
yeah.
Happy New Year.
Yeah. Happy New Year. And I'm glad to have this, and I'm going to, refer back to it, hopefully.
hmm Yeah. No, it was great. It was a great way to start the new year.
Yeah. Thank you for playing with me, Sarah.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll see everybody in a month, and have a great and wonderful New Year, New Year's Day, whatever you do.
Yeah. And if you find stillness in it, see how it is to have some active stillness and celebrate that.
Yeah.
Yeah. See you soon.